Sunset Artwork. Written by Sere Pada. Read by Rashi.
Can you write a story about me? Write something funny about our teachers.
Do you write anything dirty? These are all requests Shuichi has gotten from his classmates. Being the ultimate author, requests which more often than not just annoy him. After all, you wouldn't want to walk up to the ultimate jujitsu master and request they throw you to the ground head first. Shuichi doesn't consider the two to be much different. He never takes requests, although he always tries to decline politely. Seihara Shuichi writes what comes to him. That's how he operates. Any other way, and he just can't conjure the motivation to complete it. Oftentimes, Shuichi writes fantasy, with worlds he's made up himself, along with original characters that he takes much pride in, although he's not opposed to the occasional fan fiction when he needs a break from world building. Point is, Shuichi doesn't write about or for his classmates. It's a slippery slope, and if he accepts one request, he accepts them all. So he avoids it altogether. But lately, he's been struggling. He's adding a new character to his series, one that he plans on having joined the main group and becoming an integral part of the plot. He knows what he wants to do with the character itself, but he doesn't know who to make the character. Female? Male? Eccentric? Closed off? Fun-loving? Serious? He already has a variety of different types of people, so it's not like his story needs any specific qualities.
Saihara-chan, it's after dismissal. What are you still doing here?
I've told you this before, Ouma-kun, he says with a sigh. I like the school environment. It helps me. Ouma Kokichi, the ultimate artist, a boy Shuichi shares most of his classes with, overly enthusiastic about everything under the sun, teases Shuichi every opportunity he gets, yet undoubtedly exceptional at what he does. They have something of a love-hate relationship. Neither of them get along particularly well due to their stark contrast in personalities. However, both as artists of their own fashion, they support one another. Ouma has drawn promotional art for Shuichi's works, and Shuichi has written captivating pamphlets for Ouma's art shows. While they might not ever have productive face-to-face interactions, there's an undoubted mutual respect. Ouma sighs and sits at a desk across the room, reaching into the bag he carries with him everywhere, containing his art supplies, and hauls out a thick sketchbook. He sets it, as well as a pack of pencils, on the desk and flips to a blank page.
What a coincidence! I'm here for the same reason.
Stellar, Shuichi mutters, trying to focus on ideas for this pesky character.
What you working on?
Ouma's voice seems unbearably loud compared to the previous quiet of his thoughts. Thinking of character traits, he replies impatiently. Now, please be quiet so I can work. The other boy hums and pulls a pair of earbuds out of his bag, connecting them to his phone and focusing on his own activities, which Shuichi appreciates. He turns his attention back to his writing, staring at his computer screen with a sigh. His story already has a know-it-all, a sport, a deadpan, and an optimist. What kind of character is missing from that kind of lineup? A trickster? One that could potentially stir up trouble within the group, potentially revealing secrets that none of the others had dared to look at. That could make for some interesting plot points. With a subtle nod to himself, he gets to writing, the new character cracking a joke as they approach the group, which amuses nobody. He smiles to himself. This character would be fun to write, and would definitely end up being a fan favorite too, if Shuichi's knowledge of what characters typically ended up being popular is anything to go off of, which it is. Shuichi has been in a lot of fandoms, some more embarrassing than others. Point being, he knew which characters did and didn't end up being popular. As Shuichi wrote, he came up with various traits for this character. A male with an eccentric and chipper personality who always knows more than he's letting on. He's slightly short in stature, but makes sure to make up for it with his loud and boisterous personality. He's widely disliked among the rest of the group at first, but after a while, he proves to be well-intentioned and useful, albeit in his own ways. Shuichi's always taken a liking to characters that can keep a story interesting. Kokichi sits there at his desk, in this big, empty classroom. Except, that's a lie. A double lie. It's not his desk. During the day when class is in session, this seat technically belongs to a kid named Gokuhara, whom he finds fun to tease. Also, the classroom isn't entirely empty. Saihara Shuichi sits all the way across the room from him, typing furiously at his desk, because that desk is actually his, the goody two-shoes, working on some story he's been fixed on for days now. Kokichi tries to make lighthearted talk with him, but Saihara's never reciprocated his generous attempts at conversation, and this time was no exception. He shut down any and all of Kokichi's attempts at chatting before even giving him a chance to trap him with an embarrassing comment. Whatever. Not like he wanted to talk with such a self-righteous cheese bag anyway. He puts his earbuds in and begins to doodle in his sketchbook. He decides, after he's drawn enough doodles of himself harassing his dear classmates, that he wants to create a new character. Not that he has a story to put all the characters he makes into. He sucks at writing. So, if his original characters have a story at all, Kokichi usually just slaps them as side characters in an anime he likes. He's got tens upon tens of drawings of just original characters, most of them gajinkas of food or Pokemon. This time, though, Kokichi doesn't draw any gajinkas. He settles for drawing a more serious type character. He lays down the sketch, feet firmly apart, with a hand to their face, a thinking position, maybe a forensic investigator. Nah, he's not in the mood for drawing a uniform. A police officer? Same issue. Maybe a detective. He could have a little creative library with something like that. He gets to sketching. He gets the outfit done, a slightly oversized coat, with lazily sketched houndstooth patterns in the accents, just so he doesn't forget to add it in, along with large buttons. He adds a detective cap. And in comes the creative library to make it look a little less corny. Regular old pants, and some detective-like Oxford shoes. He nods to himself. Then, his gaze trails to the head. Still blank, and lacking any kind of personality. He needs a serious kind of haircut. Straight and serious. That's what he goes with. Dulling hue, but a color that matches well with the beige of a detective suit. He thinks a dark navy blue will work. Now for the face. Narrow eyes that hold pools of mystery and cunning, the capability to solve any crime with double the speed of his co-workers. Maybe some longer eyelashes, just for detail's sake. Kokichi decides his eyes will be golden, since the colors match relatively well, and this guy seems like he wears a lot of black outside his detective work, so it's not like gold won't match with anything else he would wear. That's his sketch done. He sighs, skipping the song that just came on in his earbuds, and glancing up at Saihara, who's stretching back in his chair, looking at his laptop. Evidently, they both had finished at the same time. He pops one earbud out. "Finished writing your smut, Saihara-chan?" Saihara jolts a bit, like he hadn't remembered Kokichi was there. He sighs, which always seems to be his default reaction to him. That's not what I'm writing, Ouma-kun. Kokichi hums, putting an elbow on his desk and resting a cheek on his fist. Bring your laptop over here and let me see your characters. Saihara blinks, surprised. Well, I mean, the story isn't really interesting. It's just a short fantasy. I draw what I want. Kokichi interrupts him. Bring it over here. Only if you let me see what you've been drawing. Saihara reasons. Kokichi shrugs. Not like he cares. Saihara can marvel over his talent any time. Oh, Ouma-kun, wow! This is absolutely amazing! Could you draw us a picture of us riding into the sunset on a brilliant white horse? How forward of you, Saihara-chan. But of course I will. Nishi. Kokichi smiles to himself. He's never drawn a horse before, but it would be a cinch for him. Whatever Saihara's cold little heart requires. That looks like me. Kokichi pauses. His brain, his heart, his thoughts, all on hiatus. He hadn't even realized Saihara had come over to his table. He glances down at his drawing. It's fucking Saihara. He slams his sketchbook shut. No, it's a detective. Are you dumb? Anyways, let me see what you wrote. Saihara does so. Most of it is just an introduction to a new character. He informs, like it affects Kokichi at all. He reads paragraph after paragraph, scrolling down and down. Loud, mischievous and unserious, dark curly hair, and purple eyes. Is this supposed to be me? Saihara is still for a moment. Several, actually. Then, quick as a flash, he snatches the laptop back and frantically scrolls up and down the pages of fiction, with panic reflecting in his eyes. No, it's not. I'm gonna be going now. Saihara beelines it for his desk, rounding up his belongings and hauling his laptop bag over his shoulders as he all but sprints to the door. Hey, Saihara-chan! The aforementioned boy stops. He looks over at Kokichi with an awkward look on his face. He looks less like a stone-cold, serious guy, and more like the kind of Saihara that Kokichi knows he really is. That is, cute. You want to have lunch together tomorrow? Shuichi hesitates for a moment. Only for a moment. Then he cracks a small smile. Yeah, I'd like that. They could get past each other's differing personalities, Kokichi thinks.